And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes.
All right, welcome to the show. Thanks for spending some time with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, of course. My wife Lindsay and I own a top real estate team here in Tampa Bay. We always help our sellers sell faster for more money by featuring our listings on air. Hey, a lot of good news today, a lot of interesting stuff. Got a feel-good story of the day. Cancer survivor wins the lottery 3 times in the last 12 months. Feel-good story coming up for you there. We've got our next gratitude party coming up. We're going to let you know about that. You are invited. That's going to be Thursday, July 3rd. We have Mark Haye in studio with us as well. We're going to be talking about 100% bonus depreciation on your real estate. And by the way, we buy houses cash as well. So if you know anybody out there selling a business, selling houses, we do buy properties fast and with cash. We can get them sold quickly, get them bought quickly for you that way as well. Shout out to Will's Way Foundation. As you know, I'm on the board, executive director of the board. Another successful trip down in Haiti, rescuing more orphans down there with Gray Bull Rescue. We'll touch on that as well. And, some updated real estate stats. We just got the latest stats from the MLS. So we'll let you know what's going on in Hillsborough, Pinellas, Pasco counties, and keep you informed here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Quick shout out to Crown and Bull. We're hosting our next gratitude party, Independence Day themed, over at Crown and Bull. Dave, tell us a little bit more about that one.
Crown and Bull is going to be the Thursday, July 3rd, day before 4th of July. Independence Day theme, like you said, so definitely wear your red, white, and or blue. It's right in the heart of downtown Dunedin, right there at 319 Main Street. Plenty of parking in the back. It's going to be a great time. Ambiance is outstanding. The food is really good, of course. It's going to be supplied by the MVP team. And, 6 p.m. till 8:30 p.m. Start coming down.
A lot of fun.
Connect, network.
A lot of fun, live music, and we're going to have a special Pledge of Allegiance there as well. All right, a couple of hot listings. We'll jump into it. We got Mark Haye in the house, 21st Century Financial. We're going to talk with him about some of his finance strategies, what he's seeing working out there for others, and sharing that information with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, a couple of hot listings here. 221 Howard Drive, beautiful listing. This one is reduced. We just did a price drop on this one down to $2.599 million. So $1 million listing from the Platinum MVP team. 5 bedrooms, 3 bath, 3,500 square foot. This one's right on Bel Air Beach. You're 1 block to the beach access, 100 feet of water frontage. Bring your boats, bring your jet skis, and saltwater pool there. Gorgeous 3-island kitchen with Thermador appliances provided by Keller Williams Luxury International. Any listings that we list and sell for you above $1 million, that's going to be syndicated on many, many outlets, of course, plus the New York Times, the DuPont Registry, the Wall Street Journal, the Robb Report, all of the major outlets there as well. 221 Howard Drive, beautiful listing from the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. 3308 Landing Place. This is another gorgeous property in a great location. I love this location. Palm Harbor. You are in the community where you have access to Lake Tarpon, one of the largest lakes in Central Florida, 2,500-acre lake, 3 bedrooms plus an office, 3.5 bath, 2-car garage. Over 3,000 square feet, over a third of an acre lot, ground level with a beautiful master, beautiful flooring throughout this property, nice pool there, screened-in pool in the back. Great opportunity to buy real estate right here in beautiful Palm Harbor, Florida. That's Tampa Bay. You have gated tennis and basketball courts, private marina with boat slips, and a ramp out into the lake where you can go down to the Tarpon Turtle restaurant right there on the waterfront. Waterfront Park, playground, and scenic trails. 3308 Landing Place, Palm Harbor. And if you'd like to buy, sell, invest, or refinance, we would love to talk to you. You can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, Mark Haye, welcome back, sir.
Good to see you. How are you doing, sir? Happy Father's Day to you.
Blessed and highly favored. Thank you so much, sir.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I wanted to talk about this big, beautiful bill that Trump's putting out And I wanted to focus on just one aspect, which was the bonus depreciation. And so, I meet with a lot of wealthy people and speak to a lot of wealthy clients. And two things that they do very, very well, and everybody has it, is they store their cash inside cash value, and they buy real estate. And the reason they buy real estate is for that tax code, the bonus depreciation. So let's just back up. Why do they store cash inside cash value instead of the bank? Because it's credit protection, it's tax deferral, tax-free. They have liquidity. There's a tax-free benefit in the event that they're not here. There's a tax-free benefit to pay off mortgages, businesses, replace them, etc. And then they leverage that money into real estate. And then when they do that, they do non-direct recognition, which means the money still compounds as if the money was in it, even though you spent it. So they make the same interest on that cash when they spend it as if it was in there the whole time.
Wow.
So basically splitting a dollar. But the big thing is credit protection. So a lot of business owners worry about lawsuits. If you're renting property, someone slips and falls inside that rental property, they're going to sue you. And so how do you protect your assets? Store it inside cash value instead of the bank, and then
inside cash value life
insurance.
Got it.
Correct. So that's a really good storage vehicle for cash. And wealthy people buy $10 million blocks of life insurance to plow in millions of dollars of cash inside those contracts, and then leverage it into real estate, business opportunities, etc. So what is bonus depreciation? Right now it's at 40%. Next year it goes to 20%, and then 2028 or 27 would be zero. But Trump came in, he's a real estate guy, and he's going to make it 100% through 2028. At 2029 it goes back down to zero. Now, hopefully they do something then and change that. But as of right now, that's what it looks like. And it's going to retro back to January of this year. So if you bought a property in February, you could still partake in this 100% bonus depreciation. So all that means is if you go buy a piece of rental property, right, and you put it into service this year, you have to depreciate that 27.5 years. All right, so just use a simple number. You buy a $100,000 piece of real estate over 27 and a half years, it's about $3,700 a year that you would be able to take off of your income doing the standard depreciation.
Got it.
Because he does 100%, all that means is you can now depreciate the whole thing in 1 year.
Wow.
So instead of waiting 27.5, you can do it in 1 year. So let's just use our $100,000 example. A $100,000 property, you cannot depreciate land, so you got to separate that. So you do a cost segregation, and let's just do an 80-20. 20,000 is land, 80,000 is building content, etc.
Right.
Okay. And again, we're just doing kind of simple math here, but you would be able to take 80,000 this year off of your income, and you get to own that property and put it into service. And let's say it cash flows $12,000-$15,000 a year of cash flow. You get the tax benefit, plus you're going to get that tax or passive income.
Wow,
to go against your W-2, etc. And so wealthy people will go and buy rental property for that reason. They're going to offset income. They need a tax deduction, and that's why Trump didn't pay taxes for like 10 years. That big thing when they went against Hillary Clinton in 2016, and he hasn't paid anything in taxes. Well, that's because he carried $1 billion of bonus depreciation forward for 10 years until that was made up, and then he started paying taxes again.
It says that's because I'm using the rules that you and your friends put in place.
So you remember. Yeah, absolutely. So it's a really good thing for people that, let's say you're a high income W-2 earner. Let's say, again, just use $100,000 of income, a W-2. You buy a piece of property. You don't have to pay cash. You can mortgage that property and still participate in the bonus depreciation. And you take that $80,000 off this year, now all of a sudden you only have $20,000 of income.
Wow.
Well, you got standard deduction, you got basic stuff. Now you owe nothing in taxes, or you're going to pay $30,000 in taxes. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So you own that piece of property. So if you said, all right, me and my wife want to buy one property a year for the next 4 years,
right,
because after that there's no more bonus depreciation. You would essentially not pay any taxes for 4 years, improve the portfolio, add passive income, and each one developed $1,000 a month of cash flow times that's $4,000 a month of income that you guys could have as a family without even touching your salary or your W-2.
Yeah,
now,
it's amazing.
Yeah,
and if you couple that with the market right now, I've got the latest stats right here. So if you look at it, you've got 7,000 active in Hillsborough County. This is non-distressed, and if you divide that by the 1,800 that sold, that's a 26% absorption rate and a 3.9 month supply of inventory. So even though on paper it's showing that, yes, it's still a seller's market, we're moving towards that balanced market between 5 and 7 months of inventory. And what that equates into right now, what we're seeing is longer marketing periods, so more days on market. And you're also seeing buyers being able to make really awesome offers, maybe a little less than list price, and they're getting concessions.
Right.
So now bring all that together, and you're getting all these write-offs and tax incentives as well.
Yeah, and you can certainly write off closing costs, on that too. And people forget, to ask seller finance. You don't need the bank to do a mortgage. Somebody's selling a property, and let's say it's sitting, like you said, maybe it's sitting for 100+ days, and they can't sell it. And you go to them, hey, how much you want for this? I want $300,000. Well, how about instead of me writing a check or getting a mortgage, why don't you be the person that give me the mortgage and give me a $300,000 mortgage at 8% or whatever, and I pay you every month instead of the bank? And a lot of people don't ever talk about it.
Right.
But it's a really good way to get property and very little out of pocket. Everybody wins. You cut the bank out. Now the person that's selling it, instead of getting this big chunk of money and paying capital gains, they're going to spread it out over 30, 40 years, whatever that term is, and develop passive income and get income instead of just a chunk that you're going to put into the market or do something anyways and not earn what that would be just on your mortgage.
Yeah.
And people don't understand too, if you sell or finance, if I'm selling a property to you, Brandon, right? And I'm going to sell that in 8% over 30 years, and the payment's $2,000 a month, and I pay you for 10 years, right? Or you pay me for 10 years, and you default, guess what happens? I get that property back. Mm-hmm. So not only do I get this income, right, and it's backed by something real that if you don't pay, I get the property back 10 years from now, which is worth how much at that time, and I can do it all over again.
Yeah.
Sell it again, rent it, whatever I want to do. But all it is an ask. Would you be interested in seller finance? Do you know anything about that? Because it could be advantageous for all of us. And it's a good way to get property out, and sold and do things that you want to do. And then you have the renters pay that mortgage, just like you would a bank, et cetera. Now, a bank's going to give you a ton of closing costs, whereas a seller may not give you much at all. So you save a lot of money on closing costs doing the seller finance.
Yeah. Right. And you're looking at what you're talking about is leveraging finances, you're leveraging real estate, you're leveraging the market, the current conditions. And a lot of times when the situations where days on market are up on a property, they're going to be willing to give you those concessions. They're going to be willing to work with you and come up with those creative financing. I had an old mentor of mine in the real estate investing space. He once said, look, it's price, terms, interest rate. There's all these combinations. He said, I can give you price, but you got to give me terms.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Now, I know we're talking about real estate, but here's another idea for this 100% bonus appreciation, just develop income. If you buy an RV or a mobile home or a yacht, a boat, et cetera, and you put it in service, it's not for personal use. You're going to use it for rental, just like you would a rental piece of property. So let's just use RV. Same thing. You buy an RV for $100,000 and you want to rent that out. Because there's no land, you get to bonus appreciate the whole $100,000.
Nice.
There is no cost seg. There is no separate land in the content. Yeah. So you can own this RV and you can bonus appreciate the entire amount this year, put it into service, and still make cash flow on that asset.
There's an app for that.
Yeah, you got it.
It's like there's always apps. 100%.
I got it. I got 2 clients that went out and bought 4 RVs this year and already put it into service, and they spent like $250,000. Guess what they do? They get to take $250,000 off of their income as a bonus appreciation. All 4 are producing income right away that's already rented out. So you don't have to do a piece of real estate, RV, mobile home, boat, all that stuff.
Those
counts.
slingshot cars?
Yes.
I've seen one of my real estate clients has a fleet of those. Rents those little slingshot cars with the little wheel in the back.
Yeah.
People love that.
You can go and buy a Lambo, buy a Lamborghini for $300,000. Guess what you can do? You can bonus depreciate the whole $300,000, put it into service, and you can rent that thing out for $15,000, $20,000 a month. I don't know what your payment would be. I don't know. I'm just saying you could do all this stuff, but people don't realize the magic of this 100% bonus depreciation, how massive this is, because not only do you get a huge deduction on your tax returns, you also get passive income that you can utilize and use and build some kind of a portfolio. Instead of putting all your money inside of a 401k and waiting 30, 40 years for that to work, why don't you do something today that can benefit you and your family, and then you can start living a better lifestyle, build a portfolio, but you got 4 years. You know, after 4 years, it goes to zero unless Congress does something, and they're very good at doing nothing. So it probably will stick at zero until they figure something out.
Well, it might depend on which way it goes, right? If it goes back to the left or if it stays GOP. So you'd see, you know, the party that favors taxes. You know, I never really understood the left saying, yeah, we're going to raise your taxes, and people actually going for that. I just, you know, you look at common sense, and it's like, hey, you know, yeah, we want to pay less in taxes, right? You know,
I mean, it's crazy to me that the government will steal 30-40% of your income, right, and then be $36 trillion in debt.
Yeah,
like how is that even possible?
Gulf wars.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we're trying to stay out of these wars. I tell you what, there's a lot of talk about that right now, and you know, there's Tucker Carlson and you know all these different factions talking. But yeah, you got a lot of the war hawks just beating that drum again, and they want to pull us into, you know, hey, how about America first? Let's take care of our problem. You know, Biden let 20 million illegals that basically was running like an Airbnb and a you know, what's the travel site, Travelocity, right? He's bringing all these people as fast as they can into the country. How about let's focus on us for now?
Yeah,
you know?
And you bring up a good point too. You know, Kamala Harris was in charge of the border for the last 4 years. She was the border, controller. And then Trump comes in, and now we're down, 95% border crossing. So, you know, it's like less than 5% are crossing the border.
Yep.
When I hear that, you know, I kind of get really enraged because that means you did that on purpose.
Exactly.
You know, because how could somebody come in and immediately shut that down with basic rules?
That's right.
And we didn't do that for 4 years, and we let fentanyl in and sex trafficking and all this stuff happening and damaging our country.
Yep.
It's on purpose.
Absolutely.
And
Bringing in voters. They're trying to bring in voters. That's the only way they can win. We got to go to a break here real quick. Mark Haye in studio, 21st Century Financial, markhaye.com. He is your financial advisor. You've got to talk to this guy, 813-917-1894. Everything financial advising, 813-917-1894. Quick break, right back. More with Mark Haye coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Hey, follow us online. We'd love to connect with you at Brandon Rimes 1 at CQB Show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rimes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Did you know that we buy houses cash? We can close quickly for a all-cash offer on your real estate properties, residential, commercial, even vacant land. We'll buy your property cash. No cleaning, no showings, and no hassles. You can even possibly stay in your home post-closing. Call Brandon at 813-917-1894. Submit the email at consumerqb.com or call 813-917-1894. consumerqb.com. We buy houses cash and fast. Attention business owners, did you know we have 100% financing options available? Our no money down program offers 100% financing for business owners. If you are currently leasing your commercial space, you can purchase real estate for no money down. Additionally, the program offers money for working capital, equipment, and business fixtures. You can even pay off current business debt. Reach out at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. brimes at kw.com. And that is our 100% financing, no money down program for business owners. We would love to help you buying, selling, or investing in real estate. 813-917-1894. brimes at kw.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, the official Pinellas County restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Say hello to Doug Clark, chef and owner Doug Clark, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Excellent food, wonderful ambiance. Say hello to our friend Doug Clark. If you're facing an insurance claim, don't just trust the insurance company to have your best interests at heart. This is Brandon Rimes, Consumer Quarterback Show. Reach out to rightwaypa.com, our friend Derek Kobal at rightwaypa.com.
Looking to level up your sales game? With 20-plus years of coaching experience spanning across several industries, Lindsay Rimes helps everyone from entry-level reps to seasoned business owners boost sales, improve work-life balance, and retain top talent. With customized options catered to personal, group, or corporate settings, Brandon and Lindsay Rimes offer training on negotiation strategy, business development, and more. Let's grow your business together. Call 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Submit an email at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, welcome back. We're in studio here with Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial, helping you win, making you more street smart as a consumer advocate, helping you with your finances today. Mark's dropping some great knowledge. 100% bonus depreciation. Also coming up, how to buy real estate inside an IRA. A couple of hot listings. We'll jump right into it. We've got a beautiful listing here at 17416 Magnolia Island Boulevard. This is a great opportunity in Claremont. 5 bedrooms, 3 full bath, 2 half bath, 2-car garage, over 3,000 square feet, acre of land. It's a rare gem at an excellent price. This is Magnolia Island, which is home to only 30 homes in that private community. Check out 17416 Magnolia Island Boulevard, Claremont, Florida. Another one of our beautiful listings from the Platinum MVP team. 2547 Lexington Oak Drive. This one's in Brandon. This has got to be the best priced townhouse for the money in Brandon, Florida. This is 3 bedrooms, 3.5 bath, 1-car garage, 1917 square foot, new flooring, fresh carpet throughout, level 2 EV charger in the garage, gated community, beautiful pool, large community pool there. 2547 Lexington Oak Drive, Brandon, Florida. You can see all of our real estate listings, Platinum MVP team.kw.com. All right, Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial. Bring us home, man. I love this talk about real estate, the investing side. It lines up perfectly with the market right now because buyers are getting really good deals right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're talking about rental real estate, RV, mobile home, doesn't matter. If you have an IRA, a 401k, and you want to purchase that inside of it, we do that. So instead of owning a mutual fund or a stock that you can't control or even enjoy, you can actually go buy a piece of rental property, a mobile home, an RV, a business inside your IRA. That's your investment.
Yeah.
Now you can tax defer the rental, tax defer the appreciation. You could sell it inside the IRA, pay no taxes. You can then obviously enjoy it as a family. You could have family retreats there and vacations, and you can enjoy this asset that's inside your IRA that's doing way better than any mutual fund that would ever pay. You know what I mean? And that IRA pays property taxes, the insurance, utilities. It pays everything. So instead of you paying out of pocket, utilize the IRA, have the asset in the IRA, and then you can really, blow up this IRA and enjoy it.
Question for you. I heard Tony Robbins say one time, 95% of all mutual funds don't outperform the index.
Correct.
So
yeah. So if you win S&P 500 index fund, you're going to win.
Yeah. So in other words, you're overpaying for underperformance.
Correct. You're right. And I have both a traditional and I have a self-directed IRA. So I have a piece of property in one and I have the market in the other. The piece of property has always outperformed the stock.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed that property. I've actually got to enjoy this. You know what I mean? I have people come down and they stay in that property. I rent it. I short Airbnb it. But all that stuff goes back into the IRA. And if there's ever a problem, the IRA pays it. You know what I mean? Because I don't have to do anything out of pocket. So we do things outside the IRA, in the IRA, but honestly, if it's cash value, real estate, and that tax code, you are going to be wealthy. And it's going to take you a very short period of time. You don't have to wait 30, 40 years. It could be 3 to 5 years.
MarkHaye.com, 21st Century Financial. Reach out to the show. Reach out to Mark. How do you want him connecting on social?
Call my cell, 727-804-7220. You could text me, 727-804-7220.
Perfect. All right, good stuff. Great stuff today, Mark. Appreciate that. Coming up, we got Attorney Jason Kobal. We're going to touch base with him about law and order. He's got some exciting cases going on right now, some really big cases against these rideshare companies. We're going to touch base with legal analyst, attorney Jason Kobal, coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, online at consumerqb.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rimes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right. Coming up, Attorney Jason Kobal. He's our legal analyst, all things work comp law, personal injury law. He's got an interesting rideshare case coming up. We're going to talk with him here in just a moment. Also, we have our cancer survivor wins the lottery 3 times in the last 12 months. David Sirkin from Alberta, Canada. Interesting story coming up in our feel-good story of the day. Coming up on that, I want to remind you about our party coming up as well. July 3rd, Thursday, the July 3rd. You're invited at 6 o'clock over at Crown and Bull. We hope to see you there. Come on out and hang out with some of our radio show expert contributors, our real estate team. And it's always a fun time over there as well. All right, a couple of hot listings. We'll jump right into it. We got Attorney Jason Kobal joining us on the phone lines. We got a property here at 9594 Southeast Camp Road. This is a business that we're selling. This is a business opportunity and a commercial property. 5,725 square feet, almost an acre of land. It's a thriving hardware store in Ocala, Florida. Great opportunity to buy real estate here. You have seller financing available with a strong down payment. There's existing cash flows coming in, revenues coming in from a motorcycle shop that's renting there, some other rentals on site as well. Investment opportunity, flexible ownership options, 9594 Southeast Camp Road, Ocala, Florida. Great opportunity there in beautiful Central Florida. 4798 Indigo Road. This is in Groveland, Florida. Check it out. You got 42 acres of land, a great investment potential for development there. It's a 2-2 home that's on site as well, so it could be an ideal for residents or a temporary base during your development work. And you're 35 minutes from downtown Orlando, close access to US 33, and minutes from the Florida Turnpike. 4798 Indigo Road, Groveland, Florida. 42 acres of beautiful country land in Central Florida. You can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. Made in America. All right. Jason Kobal, welcome back to the show, sir.
Thank you, Brandon. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, man. I got some clips I want to get to later. I got a clip from Kash Patel talking about the FBI and some of the moves he's making, and also interesting tweet from Anna Paulina Luna about Florida being a law and order state. But I wanted to start with some of your updates on your work comp law and also some interesting statistics on car accidents.
Yes, sir. Yep, and before we get into that, I'll give you my update on the rideshare case, because that case is at a very interesting point in that, every case is different. It's like every person is different, And this one, obviously, I got my heart into. Long story short, just in case anybody is hearing it for the first time, but you got to be careful with the ride shares. And I had 2 young ladies that were celebrating their 21st birthday, and they were offered birthday shots, and they were roofied. And this Uber driver is now, him and another driver for that company are facing criminal charges down in Miami. Now that has been pushed back because it's a tandem, so they're going after both of them together. That's been pushed back all the way to November, and we'll see if it goes forward then. So here you have a situation where our case is possibly going to be going to mediation next week. It looks like it. It's set. And we have an opportunity to settle it. But it's tough because, the criminal case hasn't happened yet. Formal litigation hasn't happened yet. So it'll be interesting to see if they have enough money. And they're going to have to bring a lot to get it done. But
yeah. Wow. That's exciting, man. That's big news for you and your client. That'll be interesting. Yep.
And then if it doesn't happen, then it's time to fight. And that's the long road.
And you will take it to litigation. You will take it to that next level.
Absolutely. I have no choice.
Right.
And they know that.
Exactly. All right, work comp law updates. What's happening in the world of workers' compensation law?
We actually had some recent changes. Now, it's been rough, I got to admit, for any doctor who treats an injured worker. If you've been in the injured workers' compensation system here in Florida, when you go to see a doctor when you're hurt at work, it's a lot different than if you go on your own and in your own personal insurance. Well, for years, they were really underpaid. They got paid about 110% of the Medicare rate. They drastically increased that just recently to 185% and then 210% for surgeons. And now also for deposition testimony, they increased their hourly rate by 33%. So we just hooked up the doctors, which is cool, who treat the injured workers. So I'm just hoping it helps the system in that before the only doctors that were taking the cases and were willing to take the low rates were doctors that would say whatever the insurance company wanted. And it created an unfair situation where you would get injured workers that are really hurt and they're getting pushed back to work prematurely because this is what the insurance company likes to hear. So it'll be interesting now that they're paid more. Hopefully that lessens, some of the grossness, but we'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, you see that with doctors' offices. I've seen some doctors' offices switch their models completely, whether it's going to like a cash system or just saying, hey, only these specific clients we're going to work with. It's sad to see what's happened to our healthcare in this country.
It is sad, and I'm not going to mention the name, but this is fun. I have a funny quick story about that. I once had a case where the same doctor saw the same patient for both the car accident case and the workers' comp. The doctor was also authorized by the workers' comp carrier. For the workers' comp case, the doctor said there was nothing wrong with him. But for the car accident case, he needed surgery. It was just a total confusion on the doctor's part, but that's pretty gross to see that. Yeah.
Wow.
That's the worst example I've seen.
Wow. Unbelievable. If you just joined us, we're talking with attorney Jason Kobal, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, local attorney right here in Tampa Bay, TampaWorkCompLaw.com. And Jason, let's talk about some of the stats. Also, you mentioned you've got some interesting car statistics, car accidents.
Yes. The good news is overall, our total accidents in the state are actually coming down from 2020 till now. It's gradually coming down. It was up to well over 400. Hold on, let me pull this up here. Yeah, total accidents are going down, but we are third in the nation in fatalities, which is unfortunate. How about this? 25% of all car accidents are hit and runs.
Wow.
So, yeah, and if you think about it, in Florida, the minimum is still 10,000 property, 10,000 PIP. That means if they get the legal minimum, they don't have bodily injury. So if you get hurt by a hit-and-run driver and you don't have you're going to get nothing. And 25%, 1 out of every 4 accidents is a hit-and-run. So that's all the more reason to get If you don't have in Florida, you're gambling.
Uninsured motorist. Yep, you got to have that.
That's right. All right, and get this. We are second to California in registered electric vehicles. I was surprised by that.
Wow, okay. Interesting.
Yep. We are third in truck accident fatalities. And then I'll give you a trivia. Let's see if you can get it. What month do you think is the worst month for car accidents in Florida?
Okay, Dave, car accidents. Yeah, which month?
April.
He says April.
Oh man, that you should get you should honestly probably win for that too, but it says March because of spring break. Yeah. But you said April because of spring break.
Yeah.
So I give you the win for that too.
And I bet you there's something to do with the amount of rain that happens. When they get rainy season happens, the roads get wet and there's oil or whatever on top of that, some kind of residue, plastics from the tires, etc. And some people just don't understand. You got to slow down in the rain.
Yeah, and then, in March and April, you get the snowbirds mixing with the spring breakers, and look out.
There you
Dangerous.
go. That's a deadly combination. Wow, interesting. Yeah, those are some interesting stats, man. So 25% end up in a hit and run. And, I remember hearing stats, too, in the mortgage industry and, and also in your line of work with this personal injury law. Dade County seems to be the breeding ground for a lot of these nefarious scenarios, nefarious ploys, in other words. So they have scenarios, too, out there, Jason, where, and I'm sure you've seen it, where people will have they'll intentionally bump somebody in the back or hit them in the back of the car to get them to get out of the car, and then there's all these different things. Have you seen some of those things?
Yes, it's sad, man. The swoop and stop is one. They swoop right in front of you, hit the brakes, and then you rear end them.
Right.
And I'll be honest, man. I once had a case. It made me sick. All I knew was at first it seemed good. It was a trip and fall situation at one of the local grocery stores. And then I got the actual video of it, and you see my client's buddy comes into the facility. He purposely dumps bananas on the ground, and then literally 15 seconds later, my client back then falls on his rump. So that was ridiculous.
It's like a cartoon.
Yeah, I had to drop that case, obviously, but yeah.
A Seinfeld episode.
I've seen it firsthand, unfortunately.
Wow. Yeah, people will do anything for money, man. People will get crazy and do wild things for money or the chance to get a big settlement. They hear about all these slip and falls. That's sad stuff, man.
It.
So locally,
and, in the future, I don't condone that at all. But 15 seconds is not enough time to blame a grocery store for not cleaning up a banana on the floor.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where you get into the reading the law, right? It's interpretation of the law. So when in a lot of those, I'm sure in those rules and the laws and in the playbook, so to speak, it says reasonable amount of time and things like that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Jason, let's get to. I got a couple clips that I think you'll appreciate. There's some interesting stuff here. Here's one I wanted to get to because it affects a little bit about real estate as well. And then I've got one for Kash Patel. But this one's, I forgot, he's one of the state house reps, I believe. But he does all these great videos on social. You'll probably recognize his voice. But he's saying it's, what season it is. We're kind of moving in from spring right now into summer. But for the left, it's riot season.
Well, it's riot season here in California, which means we're about to have another exodus of Californians leaving there and coming to wherever it is you live. Now, there are two types of Californians that typically leave, and I'm going to give you a tutorial on how to spot them. The first category is what I like to call the refugee. These are people that drew a very clear and direct line between the politicians and policies, which turned their once wonderful community into an unlivable dumpster fire.
So those are the refugees. Those are people that legitimately, they're probably, income earners. They probably have one or two businesses and they have some wealth, and they said, hey, wow, and some common sense. And they say, hey, we're going to leave this state and we're going to move to Florida. I know multiple people that I've talked to that are refugees, and they've, have successful businesses. They run restaurants, things of that nature, right? I'm sure you've come across those people, Jason.
Of course.
Yeah.
No.
And then
doing it the right way.
And now he's the right way. And now he's going to describe the second type.
They're moving to your state not to change it. No. They appreciate what you have and will diligently fight alongside you to protect your state from the second category of Californians, which I refer to as the locusts. Because just like the troublesome insect, they make no connection between their own choices, decisions, and voting habits and the devastation which always seems to be in their wake, causing them to have to move every 3 to 5 years. Now, there are certain visual and audible cues that will help you identify the second category, such as brightly colored hair.
So this gets the purple hair jihadis, like Charlie Kirk calls them. But isn't that so true, right? You have those two different categories.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting at a time right now, and not much has changed as far as the craziness and the Trump derangement syndrome. But we're doing our best.
Yep, I agree. And then Kash Patel, a lot of people are saying, hey, what's going on in D.C.? Kash Patel's the new director up there. I heard an interesting clip on Rogan, so I wanted to play that one for you as well. This is a little bit of law and order conversation.
There were 2 homicides an hour in this country. And we have a 38,000 person workforce. And I said, okay, where are the agents? Where are Intel analysts? Where is everybody? We got 55 field offices. We got 300 what we call RAs, resident agencies, so satellite offices to field offices in major cities. And they said, well, we've got 11,000 FBI employees in what we call the NCR, the National Capital Region. So if you take D.C. and you do a 50-mile, 60-mile radius around it, 11,000, almost a third of the workforce worked there. They said,
why would we have, right? I mean, why would we have that many people in the one area within a 50-mile, 11,000 people, right? Seems like a little overkill.
Wow.
And then he goes on to explain.
What the hell are they doing there? They said, well, they mandated if you want a promotion, if you want to move up, you got to come back here and prioritize stuff here. So I said, look, we're moving agents and intel analysts to the field. And that's what I did. 1,500 people are going to the field because a third of the crime doesn't happen in Washington, D.C. and the 65 miles around it. And everybody was like, we've been wanting to do this forever. I mean, just think about it. One agent out in Indian country, one agent out in Texas, Arkansas, Washington State prevents a homicide, conducts a major drug bust, stops a ton of fentanyl or meth from coming into our country. One agent can do that. And the agents that I talk to now from around the country are just stoked.
Yeah, so they're all stoked about that. Interesting stuff, right?
Oh, man, he's great. To me, he's an American hero. Cash is the man. Very, very pleased with him.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. All right, quick break. Right back. More with Attorney Jason Kobal coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check him out, TampaWorkCompLaw.com. Call the hotline. We'd love to put you in touch with Jason or any of our other expert contributors here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Coming up also, cancer survivor wins lottery 3 times in the last 12 months. Feel good story coming up.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com for all of your non-woke American-made products. American values, Christian, conservative American values. Say hello to my business partner, Jim McCune at AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Say hello to Shane Socash, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, 4009 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg. Online at David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com for all of your precious metals and jewelry design. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Blue Moon Estate Sales of Pinellas County for all of your estate sale needs. BlueMoonEstateSales.com. Reach out to Jennifer. Tell her you heard about her here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. BlueMoonEstateSales.com. And stop by their store, the Blue Moon Store, at 1479 South Belcher in Largo. 1479 South Belcher in Largo. And that's BlueMoonEstateSales.com. Hey, Brandon Rimes here for Jason Kobal, owner of Kobal Law. Kobal Law has been handling injury cases in Tampa for the past 14 years and has a specialized approach focused on limiting client cost and maximizing client profit. TampaWorkCompLaw.com. TampaWorkCompLaw.com. Jason Kobal, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, personal injury law, and work comp law. Selling commercial, vacant land, or residential properties? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rimes. You can reach me at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. That's consumerqb, like quarterback.com. Buying, selling, investing, or refinancing? We would love to talk to you. Thank you so much and have a blessed day.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, coming up more with Attorney Jason Kobal. He can help you with all your personal injury law, work comp law. Got a big rideshare case going on, all types of different stuff. Stays up to date with all of the statistics on that. Coming up as well, cancer survivor wins lottery 3 times in the last 12 months. That's our feel-good story of the day. All right, a couple of hot listings. We'll jump right to it. So we got a listing here. This one's 10129 Little Road, Newport Richey. Commercial building, currently operating as a chiropractic office. Great location right there in Newport Richey, close to State Road 52, Highway 19. You are 2337 square feet, over an acre of land, ADA compliant, entrance ramp and bathrooms, newer roof installed in 2020. Great opportunity to buy real estate there. Commercial building at 10129 Little Road, Newport Richey, Florida. 7991 Lake James, 7991 Lake James Boulevard, Lakeland, 323, that is, 1890 square feet. This is a renowned builder, built in 2022 by renowned builder Ernie White Construction, gated 55-plus community. Beautiful home. I love the curb appeal there, and the property looks great. Great opportunity. Lighter color kitchen, cabinetry there, or kitchen countertops and cabinetry up top. 7991 Lake James Boulevard, one of our hot listings in Lakeland, Florida. You can see all of our real estate properties at platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's right. Shout out to all our troops out there. All right, feel-good story of the day. David Sirkin from Alberta, Canada, has defied incredible odds by winning the lottery multiple times. A cancer survivor and longtime player of Lotto 649 since 1982. Sirkin first won $500,000 in August, followed by another $1 million win 3 months later. Remarkably, he won another $1 million soon after. Despite the 1 in 33 million odds, he's used to winning. Used his winnings to travel with his wife, including trips to Hawaii and Newfoundland. So really cool. Awesome luck there from this Alberta, Canada guy. That's really cool, David Sirkin. All right, there you have it. Feel good story of the day. All right, Jason, we got about 3 minutes left. What else you see happening out there? What's going on in your world, man?
Like I said earlier, with the car accidents so rampant, you gotta be careful out there. Use your phone if you get into an accident. Those cases, you see the billboards, they are very valuable. There's a lot of ways, a lot of different policies you could tap in there. So if you get in a car accident, please make sure you're with an attorney that you trust and because they are very valuable cases. There's a reason why you see all those billboards. In those cases, you could get pain and suffering, which you don't get in workers' comp. But that's why you need an experienced attorney to go over that with you. Those are very unique benefits based on the severity of the injury, the recovery period, the way it affected your life, and it's not guaranteed in every case. So you definitely want to get a legal expert that knows what they're doing, because those are very serious situations, and it's rampant. It's happening all over the state.
Jason, how important is it in the world of that you live in there with the personal injury law and work comp to have a good private investigator?
Oh man, it's key for my practice. I wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, there's a lot of times we run into problems. Just maybe you want to track a defendant down, track a witness down. Those guys are unbelievable at finding people that don't want to be found or somebody that's avoiding service. And then, like I said, I even had a situation where I didn't know what to do. It was a hit and run, but just from looking at pictures, they were able to reconstruct the accident and give valid testimony that totally turned the case from zero to at least 100,000. I think it was 100,000 was that one hit for us. So unbelievable. Those guys are like lifesavers.
Yeah, I hear you there, man. That's I've heard that similar kind of sentiment there as well. Here's an interesting post I saw. It was really cool. It's got a great Bible verse. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, profuse are the kisses of an enemy. That's Proverbs 27:6. And it goes along with knowing the difference between criticism and feedback. There's your Bible verse today. I like that one. Final thought. Awesome. Back to you, Jason.
Oh, man, you just hit a good one there. Being able to take criticism, constructive criticism, there's nothing wrong with that. I see so many people have trouble with that these days, but there's nothing wrong with learning. And we all make mistakes, and the key is to learn from them. That's
right. Absolutely. Amen on that. All right, Jason Kobal, check him out online, TampaWorkCompLaw.com, TampaWorkCompLaw.com. Jason, thanks for the update on that rideshare case, and good luck on that, man.
Thank you very much, man.
My pleasure. All right, hey, another great show. We had Mark Haye on the front end talking about 100% bonus depreciation, buying real estate and other assets inside an IRA. Also, Attorney Jason Kobal giving us those great updates as well. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rimes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.